This is the Dallas Morning News.
It's Tuesday, June 24th, and a near-carbon copy of Monday's weather on the way today with sunny skies and warm temps with a high of 94 and a heat index of 99. Clear and humid tonight with a low of 75. While Tuesday's outlook may be somewhat unremarkable, the forecast is likely to get a little more exciting later on in the week when the heat dome currently stationed over most of the eastern U.S. is expected to make its way towards Texas. That heat dome has produced triple-digit temperatures in places that have not been that hot in more than a decade, and is especially threatening because it's hitting cities like Boston, New York, and Philadelphia early in the summer when people haven't gotten their bodies adapted to the broiling conditions yet. The dome of high pressure is trapping hot air from the southwest that already made an uncomfortable stop in the Midwest. A key measurement of the strength of the high pressure broke a record Monday and was the third highest reading for any date, making for a near-historic heat wave. The worst of the heat is likely to peak for northeastern cities today. As the heat dome travels west, the high for Dallas-Fort Worth is expected to climb incrementally in the second half of this week and is projected to reach 100 by Sunday. If a triple-digit day does appear, it will be the first of the year for the metro area. In other news, Governor Greg Abbott announced that he will call a special session of the legislature over vetoing several bills on Sunday night. That will summon Texas lawmakers back to the Capitol to focus on several key issues, including regulating hemp-derived THC products. Now, the Texas Constitution requires the legislature to meet every 2 years for a 140-day session in which lawmakers must pass a state budget. Between regular sessions, the governor can call so-called special sessions on any topic. The governor sets the agenda, and the lawmakers cannot pass unrelated bills without the governor's permission. Legislators return to Austin on July 21st. They can meet for 30 days. If they do not meet Abbott's expectations, he could call them back for additional sessions. Now, the chief focus will be on regulating hemp-derived THC. Abbott vetoed an all-out ban on THC products and issued a lengthy statement indicating that the proposal would have either been overturned or held up in courts for years. That set up a rare conflict between Abbott and Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick, who made banning hemp-derived THC products a top policy goal. The federal government legalized hemp-based THC in the 2018 Farm Bill. In the years since, the sale of products has grown into an estimated $8 billion industry in Texas. A complete ban is politically unpopular among both parties. Abbott faced intense pressure from the industry and some Republicans to stop the ban. He did so at the last minute, just before a midnight deadline to veto bills. Next up, Dallas-Fort Worth law enforcement will host active shooter training across North Texas this weekend. North Texas law enforcement agencies announced the community sessions Monday at the Grand Prairie Public Safety office. The training will teach residents to respond swiftly in the critical minutes before law enforcement can arrive. That's according to Matt DeSarno, a board member of the North Texas Crime Commission and chair of its Law Enforcement Training Committee. Civilian response to active shooter events is a program taught by local law enforcement that prepares civilians on how to respond and protect themselves and others in the event of an active shooting. The program was created at Texas State University back in 2004, following the creation of the Advanced Law Enforcement Rapid Response Training, or ALERT program, which prepares law enforcement for active shooting events. Jeff Williams, a retired lieutenant colonel at the Texas Department of Public Safety, said research conducted after the creation of the ALERT program showed that people often freeze or hesitate during a crisis due to denial that the event is happening or a lack of planning. Williams said the course does not teach tactics, but it challenges the human instinct of denial in these high-risk situations. The course revolves around avoid, deny, defend. Williams said people who attend the course will learn ways to avoid the attacker, deny the attacker access to themselves and others, and possibly defend themselves if they find themselves unable to avoid the attacker or deny access. And Senate Bill 22, which invests $1.5 billion into Texas's film incentives program over the next decade, has been passed into law and will go into effect starting September 1st. The piece of legislation was not among the 334 bills that Governor Greg Abbott signed and publicly endorsed on Sunday, but bills can become law without his signature, per the state constitution. In Texas, film incentives are cash rebates for productions. The more money a production spends in-state, the higher a rebate the production could receive. SB 22 establishes a $300 million biennial fund for the Texas Moving Image Industry Incentive Program. It's less than the $500 million figure lawmakers had considered, but is still a new record for the program, which was previously boosted with $200 million in 2023. Thanks for listening. For more on today's stories and the latest breaking news, visit dallasnews.com. Enjoy your day, and I'll be back tomorrow with more from the Dallas Morning News.